1980 was, I suppose, the turning point of my career as far as becoming a full-time professional race car driver. Well, the XD was, when I first saw it racing for the first time in 1980, I sat down in front of the TV and watched the telecast from Symonds Plains in Tasmania. Now, these things have got to be half alright. And I knew what they had done with the rules. They'd allowed all the parts from the previous cars, the two-doors, to be transferred into these models. And I think that gave the Ford a bit of an advantage in a few ways. Even though it was a heavier motor car, it still had a bigger engine. And I thought, well, gee, you know, there's a chance here, if we do this right, we could sort of start to win races. And so I discussed it with my wife, and we stuck everything we had into putting this deal together. And it was a very successful motor car. It went out there and really showed the way. And it had been a long time since Ford had really been at the forefront. Probably 1977 would have been the last time when Moffat had the 1-2 at Bathurst. And since then, you know, there was a fair sort of a drought, and the Ford fans were really itching to have someone up there, and I just happened to be the lucky one that was there at the time.
Like a lot of people, my first memory of Dick is actually when he hit the rock in 1980 at Bathurst. But I saw this incredible sort of emotional public event unfold, and that was the beginning of the Dick Johnson legend.
As I remember it, he was leading the race comfortably, and then I can only assume it was a GM spectator rolled a rock on the track, and Dick hit the famous rock.
Well, I suppose you could experience going from the highest high, like here we were leading the greatest race of all time, something we'd never even come close to before, to going to the absolute depths of depression. Like, it was pretty hard to explain, actually. Just tore everybody guts out.
I can honestly say that I will never ever race at Bathurst again until such time as they have a 20-foot high wire fence. The entire spectator areas are completely wired off from the track, because that is just so dangerous. I just couldn't believe my bloody eyes with these galoots up there that just throw boulders. Like, it was enormous.
Has anything like that ever happened in racing before?
Never, because, you know, this was our big shot. We had stuck every single bulb into this.
Dick, the switchboards at all the 7 stations across Australia are jammed of people who are so upset about what has happened. And they, believe it or not, ringing and just genuinely pledging money to help you. Now, this has happened in the last half hour. Everyone knows what has happened to you. We want you to understand that everyone admires what you've done so far in your qualifying efforts yesterday, and also this morning in leading the race, and we'll keep you informed. I know the viewers across Australia are absolutely shattered by what has happened, the same as you are shattered. We all feel the same. Probably not a motor racing supporter who threw that, probably some idiot that just came in to cause a disturbance. So take time out, we'll keep you informed what happens, Dick.
Thank you very much, Michael.
I think Dick was really affected by it in the sense that he found that there were a great number of battlers out there that identified with him and that contributed their own money. And I don't think until then he really realised how emotionally involved people get in motorsport. He always felt that, but it was the fans that probably surprised him.
And Edsel saw it on TV and called and said, I think we ought to support it.
So every dollar that goes to the team from viewers of Channel 7 who send something along to you, care of ATN Channel 7 in Sydney, that money will be matched dollar for dollar by Edsel Ford on behalf of the Ford Motor Company.
Well, Mike, that's to me is unbelievable, because I don't know exactly what to say, because something like this has never happened to me before.
And I thought at the time, my God, what a risk. If Dick ends up with a whole heap of money, we're going to give him the whole marketing budget Ford Motor Company.
But I would sincerely like to thank all those people and Edsel Ford for his true support, because I know that with our car, the Ford Falcon, the way it was more than capable of winning this race and doing it easy, because believe me, the car was superb, and I owe just so much to those boys who have put so much time into it. Thank you very much, Mike.
It was obviously a very good investment, because the following year, in 81, Dick went back and won.
But to win Bathurst that year would not have given us the same amount of exposure as what it did with the Rock.
And I think it would be a happy day for all our viewers throughout Queensland with Dick Johnson, the man from Prudential.
We built this new car with the funds that had been donated to us by all these people. And I'll never forget the first race. It was in Tasmania at Symonds Plains, and we turned up with this new car, and it was the first touring car championship win I'd ever had. Final round of the Australian Touring Car Championship in 1981, and in the last round of the championship, there's one point the difference between Brock and himself going into the final round.
He's probably referring to a race at Lakeside where it came down to the wire.
It was a real buzz, because it was a wheel-to-wheel duel for the entire race, from the start, the time the flag dropped to the time the checkered flag came out.
I think Dick probably got the start, and I just hung to his bumper bar. And try as I might, I couldn't get by.
And fortunately, we came out on top and we won the championship, so that was a real good feeling.
It was one of those things where it was a turning point in Dick's life. It was a point where all of a sudden, I suppose, he had the self-confidence and self-belief that he could do it. And he deserved to be up the front flying the Ford flag. He was well and truly the guy that was out there representing the hopes of the Blue Oval Brigade, and that race was one of those turning points, one of those hallmark races that I can remember having a couple like that in my life too.